it's Mrs. Womack again, and now that we have learned about adjectives and adverbs as single word modifiers, now we have to look at modifying phrases. In other words, phrases that are acting as adjectives or adverbs. So let's get started. A modifying phrase is simply a prepositional phrase that acts as a modifier. All prepositional phrases will always act as either an adjective or an adverb, meaning the phrase is either an adjective phrase or an adverb phrase, which is why we call them modifying phrases. In order to explain this, let's look at an example sentence. The boy next to me is my brother. In this sentence, I have the preposition next to. We identify prepositions by putting a purple box around them. Now, one of the rules about a preposition is that it must be the beginning of a prepositional phrase. So there's going to be other words that go with the word next to, or the phrase next to. So when we look at this sentence, we have to look for the words that just seem to naturally all go together. Next to me. So the phrase next to me makes the entire prepositional phrase. In order to indicate that all of those words act together, we will underline them to show that they are a phrase themselves together. Now, another rule about prepositions is that they must have an object to follow, a noun or a pronoun that follows the preposition and ends the prepositional phrase. In this case, we have the word me, and it is acting as the object of the preposition. It is a pronoun, and we will label it OP to show that it is the object of the preposition. And that's all there is to identifying a modifying phrases. You first find the preposition, find the entire phrase, and then you find the object of that phrase, which should be the last word. Now this phrase, next to me, answers the question, which one, about the boy, as in, well, which boy is my brother? The one next to me. Because it is acting as an adjective by answering an adjective question and modifying a noun, it is an adjective phrase. So let's take this sentence then and diagram the parts of it. We will begin by identifying the verb, which in this case is the word is. Is a linking verb. Next, we will look for the subject by asking who or what is, and the answer is boy. Boy is a noun, so we will box it in red, and we will label it S to show that it is the subject of the sentence. With all linking verbs, we must look for either a predicate adjective or a predicate nominative. We find that answer by asking the question, is whom or what? In this case, the answer is brother. Because brother is a noun, it means that we have a predicate nominative. So I will box in brother with a red box, and then I will label it PN to show that it is the nominative. Now, as we have seen before with adjectives and adverbs, now that our formula is complete, that shows that every other word in the sentence must be an adjective or an adverb. So let's look at the modifiers of the sentence. I have the word the, which is always going to be an adjective because it is an article. We call them article adjectives. The, in this case, is modifying the word boy by telling me which one. Well, the boy. We also have the word my here, which while it is a pronoun, it is a possessive pronoun. And possessive pronouns always act as adjectives. In this case, my is telling me which brother. So it is modifying brother. Now we've already indicated next to me as the prepositional phrase, and we have said that it is modifying boy by telling me which one. So we will draw an arrow from the preposition to the word boy. To diagram this, we will begin with our basic sentence outline here, our horizontal line representing our sentence, our subject-predicate division. Because we have a linking verb, we must also divide our predicate between our verb and our predicate nominative. We will fill in our blank here. Boy is brother. Again, not a very exciting sentence until we add the modifiers. The is modifying boy, so it will dangle from boy. My is modifying brother, so it will dangle from brother. And then next to me is modifying boy. Now, to diagram a prepositional phrase, you must first start with a slanting line, and that is where you will put the preposition. For our object, it will go on a horizontal line, just like all other nouns and pronouns in a sentence. The noun or pronoun that acts as the object of the preposition will also go on a horizontal line. So we will include me here. So now when I read this diagram, I have the sentence, the boy next to me is my brother. Let's try another example. Mom asked me for the book on the shelf. In this sentence, the verb is asked, and it is an action verb. We're going to begin by asking the subject, who or what asked, and the answer here is mom, which is a noun, so we will box it in red and label it as the subject. Because I have an action verb, I must next look for a direct object. So the direct object is asked, whom or what. The answer here is me, and me is a pronoun. Now, normally an indirect object goes between the verb and the direct object, and I do not have a word between the verb and the direct object. So I automatically know I do not have an indirect object, and my formula is complete. So now that we know that all the rest of the sentence has got to be a modifier of some kind, either a single word modifier or a modifying phrase, we're going to begin from left to right. I first have the word for. For is a preposition. So now I have to look for the words that go with the word for. For the book is my prepositional phrase, meaning that book is going to be the object of the preposition for. For the book is modifying asked by telling me to what extent mom asked. Next, I have the word on, which is also a preposition. On the shelf is acting as the prepositional phrase, with the object being shelf. Now in this case, on the shelf is modifying the word book by telling me which book mom is asking me for. Well, it's the one that is on the shelf. In sentences, you can have multiple prepositional phrases, and prepositional phrases can modify any noun, pronoun, verb, or modifier, including ones that are in other phrases. And that's what we see here. So when we go to diagram it, our basic sentence, mom asked me. For the book, again, is modifying asked, so we're going to dangle from asked the preposition for with the object book. Now in this phrase, we have a modifier for the word book, the, so it will dangle from book. Also dangling from book is the prepositional phrase on the shelf. So we will dangle our prepositional phrase on shelf. And again, shelf has its own modifier, which is the article adjective the. And that's all there is to diagramming modifying phrases. Again, we will practice this a lot more in class, and so that we can get a lot used to it before we move on to modifying clauses. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.